Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy, the True Kanji. Welcome back to another video. So, in this short I made explaining what I think is the top 20 strongest Jujutsu Kaisen characters, I got a comment, ignore that, where it says Rika beats Mahoraga, which doesn't make sense, and then he's saying Mahito should be on there, but I gave him a full explanation saying Rika cannot beat Makura because even though the most powerful attack could be enough to kill him, Makura is more than just a punching bag. He's also very strong, like being able to destroy a lot of Shibuya in the fight with 15 Finger Sukuna. Mahito was beaten by Todo, a grade 1 sorcerer, and Yuji at that time was around the power of grade 1, meaning it took 2 grade 1s to beat Mahito. But Dagon, the number 20 spot, took on 2 grade 1s, 1 grade 2, and 1 grade 4 Maki, which at the time was around a semi-grade 2 to a semi-grade 1. Dagon has more curse energy, a more refined domain because he has used it much longer, making it stronger, and Mahito will not be able to counter Death Swarm since he does not have any anti-domain techniques. That was my explanation on why Mahito should not be on there and why Makura beats Rika. Makura is Mahoraga. So yeah, I'm explaining why I put all these characters in these spots because I have my reasons. So let's just get straight to it. Now Dagon, he, like I explained, has extreme amounts of curse energy. He has a very powerful domain that many people think are very powerful, others think it's one of the weaker domains. I personally think it's one of the more powerful ones. He also, his curse technique is very powerful, and even without his domain, he's still an overpowered curse spirit. Now Hana / Angel, so the reason why she's at 19, and some people would put her higher, which makes sense, but the reason why she's at 19 is because that she doesn't really have much going for her, except for her curse technique. Because I do believe she could defeat Dagon with the Jacob's Ladder, but at the same time, the Jacob's Ladder, she can't use it just repeatedly over and over and over and over again, because that's basically the only effective thing she can really do. Everything else, she's just kind of mid with. Now the reason why Ryu, he's above Angel, because if you read the fight with him, Uro, and Yuta, you'll see that he fights mainly long range, and he's also extremely fast and strong fighter, meaning so he can probably escape or at least try to counter back Angel's Jacob's Ladder, and before she could even release it, he could most likely use his lasers from his Tapora, whatever it's called, from his head and just shoot her down before she can activate it. Now the reason why Suguru Geto, he is above Ryu, is because of the fact of, because I always hate putting him high. I know a lot of people say, oh, he's one of the best, he's top like 10 or top 15. I hate putting him high because it's just the problem with him. He doesn't have much besides just his actual ability. Like, he has his curse technique and combat skills. That's it. He doesn't have reverse curse technique. He does not have anti-domain techniques. He doesn't have a domain. He doesn't have anything except for just combat, has curse tools, and curse spirit manipulation. That's really all he has going for him. Yes, he is very powerful, but without those other things, compared to the other people on this that have domains, he would lose to them because he can't fight back against the domain. Now Jogo, he's at 16 because I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but he just got unlucky. Like, I've heard people say, oh, Jogo's really weak because he got shredded by Sukuna and Gojo. Here's the thing. You gotta remember this. Those are the 2 strongest characters in the verse. You gotta remember that. And he really didn't have any other fights besides, and so this man speed blitzed Naobito, almost killed Nanami, which he probably would have died later like Naobito did, but Mahito finished him off. He did give Maki a power-up technically, but at the same time he caused permanent scars to her, and so he's also one of the fastest in the verse, and he's just extremely powerful. He also he wasn't really going toe-to-toe with 15 Finger Sukuna, but he was kind of fighting back. He ended with that maximum meteor and all of his abilities with his curse technique. Like Kenjaku said, he could probably handle around like 8 to 9 fingers of Sukuna. Now Takaba is above Jogo because I know that's a bit controversial, but the reason why I put that is because Takaba, whatever he thinks is funny becomes real. Meaning, If he thinks the volcano on his head erupts, it's gonna erupt. If he thinks it would be funny if his head exploded, it's gonna explode. No matter what Takaba thinks is funny will happen. That's why he's here. But the only problem with him, that's really all he can do. Like, he doesn't have much, he doesn't have any, like, combat skills, really. He's just, that's basically all he can do, is just basically do whatever he thinks is funny. Now, the reason why Toji and Maki are above him, because they can most likely, since those two, they are some of the fastest characters in the verse, and personally, I think Toji's top 3 fastest, and so, both of them, I'm not counting them in the same spot, but I'm counting them both as 14, 13, because I don't want to get into that problem where, like, people's like, oh, Toji's stronger, oh, Maki's stronger. I honestly don't care or know who is stronger. It's kind of annoying for me to think about. But anyways, they both could most likely just kill Takaba before he can manage to, use his curse technique. And they wouldn't show mercy. They would use their curse tools, of course. Meaning, if Maki or Toji pull out the Soul Split Katana, he dead. Now Rika is at 12 because she is the queen of curses, and she had extreme power. She was the reason that Yuta defeated Geto at first, and she's definitely more powerful than Geto, because in that pure love beam, it does kill her eventually, but still it's extremely powerful and can most definitely one-shot most of the verse. But now right here I'm only talking volume 0. If we go to the manga ahead, like in Culling Games, she has a huge arsenal of weapons for Yuta because of his curse technique, and she also gives him extreme amounts of curse energy. I mean, he has extremes by himself, but she gives him even more, causing him to have more than Satoru Gojo. And she's just a very powerful curse spirit that could shred anything that she wanted to, as long as there's not someone above her in the higher places. Now, Arume is at 11. I never really thought of Arume as a strong fighter, since there never really was any fights going on with her until now, because as you could see in the manga, like a couple chapters before it actually ended, which I'm so upset about, Hikari did defeat Arume, or that's why Hikari will be higher than Arume, but you gotta remember this also, Hikari was struggling. Like, you can obviously tell that Hikari, like, his goal was to try to get rid of Arume and join the fight with Sukuna, but she caused him enough trouble to where he couldn't do that, and so by the time that Sukuna was defeated, he was still fighting her. So that's why she's at the 11th spot, and her curse technique is also very overpowered. Now Hikari, he is at number 10 because there's also, with characters above him also, they like have the power to rather kill him even while he has jackpot, because like Hashimo said in the manga, as long as if you figure out a way to destroy the brain, which is what activates the reverse curse technique, if that is destroyed fast enough, then the body cannot regenerate the brain, causing them to die. And that's how Hikari almost died whenever Kashimo sent that lightning signal to his head, and he had to like blow it out of his nose and eyes and stuff like that. If he didn't do that, it would have split his head open, and he couldn't revive it because of his like his reverse curse technique wouldn't work, since that it's connected to the brain. So as long as the brain is intact, he will regenerate. But at the same time, you're also gonna remember he has a 4-minute and 11-second time limit, and some of the people above here could just outlast him and then defeat him. Of course, he also is extremely lucky though. But as long as you can manage to also defeat him before he hits jackpot, you got a pretty good chance. Now Mahoraga at number 9 because first of all, Hikari, he doesn't really have any curse techniques that could actually kill Mahoraga, because Mahoraga, like, a lot of people, they underestimate him or overestimate him, but most of them underestimate him because they think, like, oh, as long as the character can have enough power to one-shot him, they win. But you also gotta remember, he's not just some punching bag, like I said in that explanation to that person. He's not some kind of punching bag. He is the strongest of all of the 10 shadows. He was going toe to toe with 15 finger Sukuna. He could probably defeat around like a 12 to 14 defeat a 12 to 13 finger Sukuna. And he has that adaptability is completely insane, and so that's why Hikari, he doesn't really have any curse techniques, and punching and stuff like that, that won't work. That's not going to work against Mahoraga, since he will just immediately adapt to his punches. Unless if somehow he can get a punch that literally is power enough to kill Mahoraga, which is most likely not possible with Hikari. Now, the reason why Yororozu, she is above Mahoraga, is not because of like her domain or fighting. It's because of her curse technique. Because she has the curation, which basically, as long as she has enough curse energy for it, she can create whatever she wants. That can be overpowered because if she can create whatever she wants, she can just create like a cannon, for example, that is strong enough to literally just blow away Mahoraga, and she most likely would be able to defeat him before he could adapt to her curse technique, because I mean he would have as long as even if she messes up one thing, she can just build a different thing and he won't be adapted to it. So that's why Yororozu is above him. Now Yuki is at number 7 because Yuki is definitely one of the strongest characters in the verse because of her curse technique. And also now her black hole ability, that does end up killing her in the process, but at the same time, anyone that gets caught in it will most likely die. Unless if you're Kenjaku and you have an anti-gravity technique. But yeah, and she can change like gravity, or I mean the weight of stuff and like that. And she's extremely powerful, going toe to toe with Kenjaku, one of the strongest in the verse. And yes, Choso was helping her, but at that time also Choso's probably at around a high grade 1 or something. So that's why she's at number 7, because she's extremely powerful and her curse technique is overpowered. Now Hajime Kashimo, I've heard people actually complain whenever I say Kashimo defeats Hikari, but they say oh, but Hikari beat Kashimo. Yeah, Kashimo wasn't at his full power. He wasn't using his mythical Amber Beast, I think it's called, or something. His curse technique. He wasn't using it in that fight because he was saving it against Sukuna. Now, yes, he technically did get speed blitzed by Sukuna, but you also gotta remember that form of Sukuna is literally at his pinnacle of power throughout the entire show, not counting the Heian era, which was stronger, but than him right at that point, because he only had 19 fingers, but still, that exact moment, Kashimo is fighting the strongest version of Sukuna that, they have seen ever since the Heian era, and he wouldn't get another finger, because, it's sealed, or taken away, but, yeah, so you also gotta remember that, and before Sukuna turned to true form, he was actually fighting really well against Sukuna whenever he was still in his normal form in Megumi's body. And so, yeah, you just gotta remember that he's one of the fastest, maybe even the fastest in the verse. His curse technique is very powerful. It almost killed Hikari, and that's why he goes to number 6 spot. Now, Yuji Tadori. He is extremely powerful with his left-right goodnight technique. But seriously though, he has many different curse techniques. He has blood manipulation. He can control the sparks of black flash. He has mastered divergent fist. He has a domain expansion. He unlocked a reverse curse technique. He has dismantle and cleave. And so he basically has a crap ton of curse techniques and abilities, and not only that, he is a half human, half curse because of Kenjaku's mother. Here, I'm gonna put spoilers before, but anyway, so Kenjaku is his mother. So, and before whenever he was born, Kenjaku actually put a finger sealed inside of Yuji Todori, making him the perfect vessel for Sukuna, but it's also what caused him to have superhuman strength, like, and being able to run at 60 miles per hour in the beginning of the show. He is definitely very powerful. He has grown a crap ton ever since the beginning, and he is the one that defeated Ryoma and Sukuna, and that's why I'm giving him number 5. He's also defeated a couple of special grade cursed spirits, like for example, Eso and Kichizu. He's defeated Mahito, Ryoma and Sukuna. He's defeated all of them. Now we got Yuta Okkotsu. Now, people like to complain saying he's a fraud because he kind of got packed up against Sukuna, but you also got to remember it's not him at his very strong, since he was a little bit weakened, but still he was at almost his strongest in that moment, and so you guys remember that. And Yuji, his endurance far exceeds Yuta, but also Yuta has Rika to back him up with the curse techniques and stuff like that, and his curse technique copy is very powerful, and his domain expansion, he can literally steal any curse technique as long as but it's just whatever sword he picks up though, but still. And he has the second highest curse energy in the entirety of all of the show, because it was stated that even Yuji realized it too, Yuta has more curse energy than Gojo, but Sukuna has 2 to 3 times more than Yuta, because Yuta stated that. But anyways, yeah, he's just one of the strongest. His combat skills is very powerful, and that's why he's getting number 4. Now, the reason why number 3 is Kenjaku, because people like to say that Yuta's stronger because he did, yes, kill Kenjaku, but you also gotta remember this. Kenjaku was very weakened and was surprised because Yuta, first of all, surprise attacked him, which Kenjaku was not expecting it, so that's why he died. And second, he was very wear down and tired from his battle with Takaba. That's why he lost, but if he was at his full strength in that moment, he would have won. Or like if he knew Yuta was there, like they had a one-on-one, he would most likely win because he has an open barrier domain. His domain is also very powerful, and he also has many different curse techniques like anti-gravity system. He's got the curse manipulation. He's got barriers. He's got simple domain, I'm pretty sure. And he's just one of the strongest. He's the smartest in the verse because everything that's happened with Yuji, he has expected to happen. So yeah, he was also the one that sealed Satoru Gojo. Now this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, but number 2 is Satoru Gojo. It annoys me how many edits and people that say Gojo beats Sukuna. It's ridiculous, because the fight with Sukuna, first of all, Sukuna, yes, he most likely would have lost if he didn't have Agito and Mahoraga, and people say, but if it was a one-on-one, he would have won. But here's the thing. It technically was a one-on-one because Sukuna didn't cheat or anything. It was all part of his plan. He wanted to take over Megumi's body before fighting Gojo, because that way he could use Mahoraga to help him in the battle to make sure that he wins. And Gojo even stated too that Sukuna wasn't actually trying like 100% in the battle. He accepted defeat. He said that Sukuna was stronger, and like, it's just annoying how many people say that. Gojo's like, but this and that and that. Sukuna literally was not even in his true form. Like, the true form is way stronger than the Mega Una form. And so it just doesn't make sense how dumb people can be. And then we got the GOAT, number 1, Ryoma Sukuna. Shouldn't have come to a surprise as anybody. He's the one that defeated Satoru Gojo. He's like, technically Yuji could beat him because he did beat him. Blah, 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 blah. No, he can't. A one-on-one battle, Sukuna would win. And here's the thing. Sukuna wasn't even at his strongest. The only time he was at his strongest was in the Heian era, because he only had 19 out of 20s of his power in the final battle, in the Shinjuku arc. he literally wasn't even at his strongest version. And you're saying that Gojo would win, or like Yuji would win. Bro, Sukuna would beat them with 19 fingers, and like with 20, this man's gonna pack them up. Hang on, what's this? Oh! What's this? Wait, huh? Why do you say thank you? That dude replied to me saying thanks. Technically, Yuji is on the same level as Gojo? Nuh-uh. I'm not gonna reply because it's a waste of my time. But yeah, so that's my explanation on why I had all these spots. I know that this was a complete yap session, but it's just so that way people, like, in my comments on this video, they don't complain. Because, again, this is all my opinion, and I won't be changing this list because this is my final list of what I think, because Jujutsu Kaisen's over, nobody's getting stronger because it's over. Yeah, I hope all of y'all enjoyed my explanation. Hopefully I wasn't yapping too long. I just wanted you guys to understand why I put all this stuff like this. I'll catch all of y'all in the next one. Peace and all out. Yeet!